Love the Eagles as much as we do? Then hit that subscribe button and stick with us at Eagles Nest News for all the drama, updates, and hype all season long. The Philadelphia Eagles have once again shocked the football world, and this time it came in the form of a lightning-fast, almost unbelievable deal that nobody saw coming. Out of nowhere, insiders started whispering that General Manager Howie Roseman was on the phone late at night, making calls that felt more like poker moves than traditional negotiations, and the name on everyone's lips was none other than Greg Newsome, the young cornerback who had been building his reputation with the Cleveland Browns. What seemed like loose chatter in the morning turned into something that dominated every sports talk show by the afternoon, as confirmations and denials kept overlapping until the final hammer dropped. The Eagles had pulled it off. Social media absolutely exploded the second the announcement hit, and the reactions ranged from stunned excitement to total disbelief. Fans in Philadelphia were flooding timelines with green heart emojis and bird gifs, while Browns fans were left scratching their heads, asking how and why their front office let such a promising defender leave. The pace at which the deal unfolded only added to the drama, creating the sensation that the Eagles had snuck in through the back door and stolen a prize in plain sight. The timing of the move was just as shocking as the trade itself, because no major insider had teased this possibility in recent weeks. Instead, the Eagles had been quietly linked to other positions of need, especially linebacker and safety, and even offensive line depth was rumored to be more pressing. Yet, in typical Roseman fashion, the strategy was never about playing checkers. It was always about playing chess, and the Eagles' front office has developed a reputation for moving in shadows. Greg Newsome's name suddenly appeared like a thunderclap on the radar, completely blindsiding reporters who pride themselves on sniffing out rumors. The way the news dropped felt like a bombshell, especially since other franchises were assumed to be hunting for cornerbacks. The Eagles swooped in with an offer that apparently cut through all hesitation, and within hours the deal was completed. The organization's ability to execute high-level moves without a single leak demonstrated once again why they're feared around the league, not just for the product on the field, but for the stealth in the front office. It left analysts scrambling, trying to make sense of the fit and the suddenness of the signing, while Eagles fans celebrated what felt like a heist in broad daylight. Greg Newsome himself represents a fascinating addition, not just because of his youth and talent, but because of the type of corner he is. Still in his early 20s, he carries both length and speed, the kind of combination that allows him to match up against taller receivers while still being quick enough to mirror route runners in the slot. His tape with Cleveland showed flashes of a lockdown defender capable of turning his side of the field into a no-go zone. The Eagles, who have invested heavily in the secondary over the last few years, suddenly look even more formidable. Pairing Newsome with Darius Slay and James Bradberry, at least on paper, gives Philadelphia one of the deepest cornerback trios in the entire league, something that instantly changes how coordinators would try to attack them. The move speaks to a commitment toward shutting down aerial assaults, which is critical in a conference loaded with elite quarterbacks and receivers. Fans immediately began fantasizing about matchups where Newsome would be tasked with shadowing some of the NFC's best playmakers. His youth also gives Philadelphia insurance, ensuring continuity in a secondary that has often been criticized for its age and looming contract decisions. The reaction in Cleveland, however, told the other side of the story, one filled with confusion, frustration, and an uneasy sense that something bigger might be brewing. Browns fans took to radio shows and online forums to vent about the decision, pointing out that Newsome had been developing into a cornerstone of their defense. For many, it felt like the rug had been pulled out from under them, as they were expecting to see him grow into one of the AFC's top corners alongside players like Denzel Ward. The sudden departure sparked speculation that there might have been behind-the-scenes tensions, perhaps related to playing time, defensive scheme fit, or even contract negotiations looming in the background. Some whispered about locker room dynamics and whether Newsome had quietly requested a fresh start elsewhere, though no firm reports confirmed that narrative. The Browns' front office, as always, tried to spin it as a move in the best interest of the team, but fans were unconvinced. They saw a young, ascending player shipped away, and many couldn't escape the feeling that Philadelphia had taken advantage of uncertainty in Cleveland's house to bolster their own roster in breathtaking fashion. In Philadelphia, meanwhile, the vibe was electric, almost as if the city had won a playoff game. Sports radio lines lit up with callers buzzing about the deal, some saying they had to double-check their phones to make sure the news wasn't fake. The Eagles faithful have grown accustomed to Howie Roseman pulling rabbits out of hats, but this one hit differently because of how fast it all unfolded. Commentators praised the front office for identifying a need that wasn't even glaring and still making it stronger, because in the NFL you're never too strong at cornerback. Fans were already envisioning how much better the pass rush could look with quarterbacks forced to hold onto the ball for an extra second or two. Optimism spread like wildfire, with predictions of how the move could tilt the balance of power in the NFC. Some even called it a championship-level signing, while others reminded everyone that fitting new talent into a defensive system always takes time. Still, the overwhelming mood was one of triumph, a sense that the Eagles had outmaneuvered the competition once again, adding another headline to their growing reputation for bold, fearless roster construction. Beyond the immediate excitement, there was also a deeper conversation about what this move says regarding the Eagles' long-term philosophy. Philadelphia has never shied away from being aggressive, whether it's making trades, stockpiling draft picks, or signing veterans at positions that appear loaded. Bringing in Greg Newsome fits perfectly into that identity, as it reflects a willingness to add premium talent, even when the casual observer might not call it a need. In today's NFL, with offenses becoming faster and more explosive, having multiple high-level corners is less a luxury and more a necessity, and the Eagles clearly understand this. By locking in Newsome, they also secure a younger piece who could serve as a bridge between the older veterans and the next wave of defenders. It demonstrates foresight, not just for this season, but for seasons to come, ensuring that the defensive backfield won't collapse once contracts expire or age catches up. It's a move that blends short-term impact with long-term stability, which is exactly why the rumor mill didn't just report as a trade, but as a statement of intent. The Eagles want to win now, and they want to keep winning for years ahead. Even as the dust settles, the rumor mill continues to spin wildly, suggesting that this might only be the beginning of a series of aggressive maneuvers by the Eagles. Whispers around the league imply that Philadelphia isn't content with simply landing Greg Newsome, but rather intends to use this acquisition as part of a broader strategy to retool its entire defensive identity. Analysts have pointed out that the team has been stockpiling assets and quietly restructuring contracts, clearing room for flexibility that might foreshadow more moves. Some even believe that this sudden strike for Newsome could create ripple effects, pushing other teams to reconsider their own roster strategies. It's not uncommon in the NFL for one bold trade to set off a chain reaction, and rival general managers are surely scrambling now, wondering whether they're already a step behind. For Philadelphia, the Newsome acquisition feels like both a victory lap and a warning shot. It says to the rest of the NFC, the Eagles are not waiting for opportunities to come to them. They are taking what they want. That kind of mindset, when paired with talent, can shift an entire season's narrative overnight. From Newsome's perspective, the fresh start in Philadelphia could represent both an opportunity and a challenge. On the one hand, he's walking into a locker room filled with veteran leaders, playoff-tested stars, and a coaching staff that has consistently put its defensive players in positions to succeed. On the other hand, the expectations in Philadelphia are sky-high, and the pressure cooker environment is very different from the atmosphere in Cleveland. Eagles fans are famously passionate, and while they'll welcome Newsome with open arms, they'll also demand immediate results. That can be daunting for a young player, but it can also be exactly the kind of environment that pushes him to unlock his full potential. The coaching staff will likely look to integrate him smoothly, perhaps easing him into specific matchups before unleashing him in a full role. His ability to adapt quickly will determine how impactful he becomes in the short term. Still, there's no denying that he now has the chance to shine on one of the biggest stages in football, in a city that lives and breathes the game. The whispers about how the deal got done are just as fascinating as the move itself. Some insiders claim that the Eagles had been monitoring Newsome for months, quietly circling the situation in Cleveland like a hawk waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Others say the negotiations only heated up in the final 48 hours, sparked by behind-the-scenes tensions between Newsome's camp and the Browns' front office. The truth, as always, probably lies somewhere in the middle, but the secrecy surrounding the trade is what makes it so intriguing. Nobody saw it coming because the Eagles mastered the art of keeping everything under wraps, shutting down leaks until the ink was dry. This cloak-and-dagger approach is becoming their trademark, and it's why their moves feel so shocking to the public when they surface. The element of surprise is just as much a weapon as the actual talent they acquire. It's a reminder that in today's NFL, information is power, and the Eagles wield it as effectively as any team in the league, using silence and timing as tools to outmaneuver the competition. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. For the Browns, the aftermath is filled with questions they don't seem ready to answer. The official statements are polished, speaking about roster balance and long-term planning, but fans are demanding specifics. Why give up a young player with so much upside? Why now, when their defense was finally starting to take shape? Conspiracy theories are already spreading, with some claiming there must have been contract disputes, while others suggest personality clashes behind closed doors. Whatever the real reason, the optics are brutal. Cleveland looks like a team that blinked first, allowing itself to be outmaneuvered by an opponent that thrives in high-pressure situations. The fan base, loyal but weary, sees yet another promising piece shipped away, and it fuels the narrative that the Browns can't hold onto their best talent. It's not just a trade, it's a psychological blow, the kind of move that makes supporters question the direction of the franchise. Meanwhile, Philadelphia basks in the glow of victory, knowing full well that perception matters as much as performance in the never-ending battle for momentum. Around the league, rival teams are taking notes, and not all of them are pleased. Defensive coordinators who were already dreading facing Philadelphia's pass rush must now scheme against a secondary with added depth and versatility. Quarterbacks will think twice about forcing throws against a lineup that features Newsome, Slay, and Bradbury. Offensive coordinators are recalibrating, knowing that the Eagles just tilted the chessboard in their favor. At the same time, other front offices are facing uncomfortable questions from their fan bases. Why didn't they make a similar move? Why weren't they aggressive enough? In that sense, Philadelphia's deal doesn't just improve their roster, it destabilizes others, creating ripples of pressure throughout the NFL. The Eagles, whether intentionally or not, have forced the rest of the league to respond. And in a season where margins between contenders are razor thin, that kind of psychological edge can prove decisive. It's a move that resonates far beyond one player, reshaping expectations across the conference and sparking debates that will linger for weeks. Ultimately, this story feels less like a transaction and more like a statement, the kind that echoes through an entire season. The Eagles didn't just acquire Greg Newsome. They reinforced their identity as a franchise that thrives on boldness, unpredictability, and an unrelenting pursuit of excellence. Every championship team needs moments like this, where the front office makes a move that sends shockwaves and energizes everyone connected to the organization. The fans feel it, the locker room feels it, and even the opponents feel it, whether they admit it or not. That's the true value of signing like this. It's not just about who lines up at cornerback on Sunday. It's about the momentum, the energy, the sense of destiny it creates. In a league where parity is king, that extra edge can be the difference between falling short and lifting the trophy. Whether Newsome fulfills every expectation or not, the boldness of the move itself has already shaped the narrative. The Eagles, once again, are not waiting for history to happen. They are writing it themselves in bold strokes, with moves that leave everyone else scrambling to catch up. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.